Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy Crypto World podcast. The podcast that brings you, the uninitiated baby boomer, Gen X and Ys out there, the daily updates of the crypto markets, as well as the crypto news of the day. So sit back and join Stacy and Chris for your crazy crypto daily update. Hey, buddy, how you going?
Good morning, mate. Yeah, good. Yeah, a bit. My brain's a little bit fried, but it's surviving. We're doing all right.
Your brain's fried, mate. I tell you, you've seen what I did for the weekend. I spent
Yeah.
it down in Wagga, setting up firebombing aircraft. Now, the thing with it was there was no fire. It was a training thing to get qualified in doing it, but it was about minus 458,000 degrees. So normally, if I have to wear goggles over my glasses, that my glasses fog up in about 30 seconds. But this weekend, they didn't fog up a single time because the ice forming around the outside of the goggles actually created a vacuum that kept the heat in there. It was unbelievable. I could not feel my feet or my nose or my mouth. Literally could not, like they were just absolutely going numb. And my hands inside my gloves were purple from the cold. It was fantastic weekend, but oh my God, cold. Oh, just made. What about you? What'd you get up to?
Look, I actually went and did a crypto trading course with a company under the name of Trader Cobb. The guy who presents it's Craig Cobb. He's got his own podcast. I actually recommend people go check it out. He's a good guy.
But don't check it out until after you've checked us out, ladies. You heard it here first. Remember, Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World. Number one.
Different horses for courses, right? But look, he's
number one.
He's a good guy and has a really good, relaxed approach. And but he knows his shit. Like he's been trading 13 years and done the traditional markets and forex and all that sort of stuff. And
explain to me how you trade beer, mate. Forex, really? Only in Queensland. It's such a crap beer. They're probably like, I'll give you Forex for 3 Fosters.
Neither one, I don't think. But no, look, it's a really good course. A lot of stuff to take in, and you can see he enjoys what he does. And so I'll be reporting back on how the education process goes. This is just the start, right? So
Stacy is so confident, ladies and gentlemen. He has no idea I'm going to throw him in the deep end.
Good on you.
He is so confident that this will work that he's actually going to share with us every 10% he makes.
Sure.
You heard it here first. And he said, sure. Hold him to it.
You didn't say 10% of what?
Damn it.
I'll share you 10% of all my losses.
It's all right. Trust me, I'll just add them to what I've had this year. It's fine. Buy a new calculator if you want them, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me.
Good stuff. All right. Well, I suppose we should probably have a look and see what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Where are we sitting? Because, I don't like the numbers on Bitcoin today. I mean, they're still above 11, but it's 11 and a 4. I liked it when it was like an 11 and a 9 or a 12 and a 3 and things like that.
Well, it's really hasn't done much at all, to be honest. I mean, it's just floating around. Hasn't really found much direction at all.
There's a couple of stories where the analysts are saying because it hasn't broken above the resistance level, they reckon it's going to reverse back into a bullish trend. A bear trend. So the bears will come out to play.
Oh, look, who knows? I mean, this is the great thing about the market, and when we look at it here, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up again. Now it's coming down a little bit, but look,
it's still above the 20-day average. So
look, it's still long term, still an uptrend long term, right? I mean, if we go to the weekly, we're still looking all right. It's who knows? I mean, that's the joy of the crypto market, right? It's no one can predict it, and one of the things that Craig Cobb said on the weekend, right? He doesn't get caught up in sort of the news and where it's going, what it's doing. He just reads the market. He just reads the charts, right? day to day, and it can change day to day. He could think it's going one way, and then the next day look at it and go, oh, no, it's changed its mind. It's going somewhere else, right? So
It's cryptocurrency. If you read the charts day to day, you're never going to know anything because it
well,
doesn't change.
it's all point in time, right? It's all a point
Yeah,
in
that's
time.
right. It
So
changes minute to minute.
what is the chart telling us right now? Right?
Yeah,
What's the price
that's
doing
right.
right now?
Yeah.
So so if we look across right now, we've got Bitcoin
This minute.
at 11.4, up a fraz for the day, still up for the week. Ethereum's still not doing real great. Although it's had a bit of a pump in the last day for some reason, up 4.2%.
Well, there was one news story that reckoned that Ethereum will actually break above 300 this week.
This week.
This week.
Okay, that'll be interesting. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. XRP's up 2.2, but still down for the week. Bitcoin Cash up 7.3. It's had a big pump, but it's still down for the week, so it's still trying to recover some of its losses. Litecoin's up 4.5, but it's had a bad week. It's still down 12.5 after its halvening event that's happened. Binance Coin up 1.6, EOS up 3.5, but still down almost 9% for the week. Not worry about Tether. Bitcoin SV's up 3.4, still down for the week. Monero 0.6 and up 12% for the week.
Yeah, it's actually something.
So yeah, Monero's come forward a little bit on because it was down. It wasn't in the top 10. So it's pumped out Cardano and Stellar, and to slide itself into the top 10. So that's interesting. So anyway, our market cap still sitting just above the 300 billion mark at 303. Still down about 1.7 for the day, but Bitcoin dominance approaching 70%.
That's interesting because Cointelegraph actually has the Bitcoin dominance sitting at 68.34, and one of the market analysts had a view that now that it has dropped below 69, that's what made me look at it there. So that's the one I had up. So that's interesting that one has it at that and the other has it there.
Again, it's all point in time, my friend, isn't it? So depending on when that Cointelegraph article was written, I'm sure it probably was then, but as now it's back up to 69. So look, the Bitcoin's dominance just continues to rise, and that's where the money's flowing.
China also released a story saying that Bitcoin was not the dominant cryptocurrency.
Who said that? Sorry,
not China.
Oh, China. That's just because they want it, right?
That's because they're about to release their own.
Yeah, of course. So let's have a look at some news. Crazy old news.
Mate,
this is one.
This isn't crazy news of the day, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy news of the century and of the universe. Denmark's third largest bank is now paying people to take out a mortgage. Now, how that works is if you take out a $100,000 mortgage, which, pay $100,000 buy anything other than, I don't know, maybe a
you
pie.
might get a garage.
But they do have one example in there where if you take out a $100,000 mortgage, there are no mortgage repayments. They will actually pay the interest themselves. So therefore, your interest will go down by $1,000 a year, your mortgage. So if you make no repayments at all, at the end of your first year, you only owe them $99,000. In your second year, you only owe them $98,000. And you don't have to pay a mortgage. There is no lender's mortgage insurance, and there is no defaulting on a mortgage because it's impossible to default on something that you don't have to pay. Now, how this also works is that if you make no payments for the 30-year term of your mortgage, you still owe the bank at the end of that 30 years, but you don't owe them the $100,000. You'll owe them approximately $50,000. Right? So you'd either then have to take out another mortgage or sell the house, and you've walked away with a pretty $50,000 and lived somewhere for free for 30 years. But it's actually real now. They're actually doing this. This is the way that they've decided that they can battle the negative interest rates. Rather than stifling the economy, they're saying, go and buy, we'll cop the loss.
I know. And look, this is just the first. there's
Absolutely.
going to be more of this coming. This is the insane thing.
Westpac, NAB, ANZ, and what is it? Who's the other one? Westpac, NAB, ANZ, and Combank. Please take note. Denmark's third largest bank. They're probably bigger than you guys. So come on, get with the program. Where's my free mortgage?
Yeah, they won't. Even if Australian interest rates go to negative, I'll bet you anything like they don't pass on negative interest rates. It's going to be pretty bad before our big four pass on negative interest rates, I reckon.
And some people are saying it's good, some people are saying it's bad. But when you look at the positives of such a move, yes, the banks are going to make a loss on those mortgages, the people who take out those mortgages, but the disposable income of the people who've taken out those mortgages just went through the roof. Because they, in effect, they still have a mortgage, but they don't really have a mortgage.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing: if our economy is such that it's driving us down to negative interest rates, we have serious problems in our economy.
Oh, no one's saying we don't. And no one is saying we
that's don't. That's the worry, right? And the point is, how do we get ahead, right? If we've got negative interest rates, how does the average person get ahead? Because you can't save. Right?
Yeah.
Because anything you try and save, you'll get penalised on. You put savings in the bank, it will cost you. Right? Yeah. And if they're giving you negative interest rates, you can be damn sure your negative interest rate on your savings is going to be more than the mortgage. Right?
Yeah.
So you won't survive and you won't get ahead in the traditional financial system. Put it that way.
No, but I still see it as a good move, that one. I can't see any downside to a bank giving you a free house.
It sort of is and sort of isn't, right? Because, and the other thing is to pay it off, then you've obviously got to put cash into that loan.
Yeah, you do. But it's not only interest free, it's reducing. So the second example the bank has done, a $1 million mortgage, if you paid it off over 10 years, now granted that's pretty quick, right? But a $1 million mortgage, if you paid it over 10 years, you only end up paying back $995,000. So you've had interest-free $1 million for 10 years.
Yeah, but the thing is, in a negative interest rate cycle, that money that you've then put into that loan, right, is also costing you, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is the whole weird thing about negative interest rates. Your concept of time and money has got to be flipped on its head.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird, crazy thing, and
look, it is. But I think
this is why we're going into crypto, right? Because
but you got to admit, at least it's one indication that someone is thinking outside the box to see what they could do and how it would impact. So,
well, they've been talking about negative interest rates for years, right? I mean,
I'm talking about the free mortgage.
Yeah. This is all part of what's the NIRP, the negative interest rate policy. That I think the IMF wrote it or something.
It's just crazy,
and it's been distributed to all the major banks around the world. Right? So they all are heading this way, you know.
Yeah.
And the more they try and devalue our dollars and print more money, and the economy continues to drop, we're going to get more and more of this around the world. So, but it's a crazy concept, absolute crazy concept.
Absolutely. All right, what else we got, buddy?
All right, well, and in talking about printing more money, JPMorgan is now telling the Fed that they're going to need to restart QE. Now, QE is quantitative easing, and whenever you see these fancy terms like quantitative easing, it just means print more money. And so, of course, every time they print more money, it devalues the dollar even more. So it's crazy stuff. So that's it's coming our way, right? And what we do in Australia, who knows? Never really know. So what do we got here now? So Bitcoin will be in a lot of hedge fund portfolios.
Oh, of course it will.
Oh yes, absolutely. Of course it will. And so it's interesting now that this is actually hitting sort of the mainstream sort of news, and it's like we've been talking about it for quite a while, but more and more of the the hedge fund managers and CEOs are talking about this, and this is also part of the reason why I think the Bitcoin dominance is continuing to rise, because more of the investment funds and serious investors, if they're wanting to make a move into crypto, it's going to be in Bitcoin. It's not going to be in any of the shit coins or the altcoins, right? It's going to be Bitcoin. So I think this is also another reason why the Bitcoin dominance figure is continuing to rise, and I think it's probably going to go a bit higher yet by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff. And this one you pulled up before, Chris?
Yeah, the top 5 performers there. I just thought it was funny how, and this is, as you said, all point in time.
Yeah.
So they've got BNB, Bitcoin, XMR, Leo, and Dash. And they're talking about the top 5 performers for the last week. Yet when I look at the charts, Dash is actually down in the last week, or 0.3 down, not by very much, I don't think. Where is it now?
Dash down 2.6 for the week.
Down 2.6. Now, there are a number of green figures surrounding Dash in the last 7 days. So
OKB is up 38% for the week.
Yeah. So really,
Monero's up 12.4.
This is probably, like Stacy mentioned, that the fellow that he did the trading course with on the weekend says he doesn't watch the news or read the articles and all that sort of stuff, all the stories. This is probably a really good example why you shouldn't, or you can, but to take it with a grain of salt. Because whoever wrote this obviously didn't look at their charts. They're saying in the last 5 days, the top performers have been, oh, look, Dash is number 5. Yeah, guys, Dash is not number 5 in the last 5 days.
So what was the criteria for performance?
7 days.
I haven't read this one.
Yeah,
was it purely price, or was it?
yeah, price last 7 days. Excuse me.
Well,
all right, moving right along.
There you go. Very strange indeed. All right, so we've got this is another one. So, in talking about FUD out of China, Bitcoin safe haven sucking in money from China. It's it's interesting when you sort of hear some of the news out of China and them quite often providing negative thoughts towards Bitcoin, but when you look at what they're doing as opposed to what they're saying, it's often not the same.
China's about to release their own cryptocurrency, so
that's right, and they've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, governed by the central bank.
Oh, China, yes, but absolutely will be. So it's not something you'd want to put your money into at all, but because it's another form of control by them.
That's right. We all know that China does collect information of people.
Just a little.
They do it unknowingly. Like if you happen to have a DJI drone, for example, every single time you start up your drone, it goes back and checks the firmware. And what that does, it then sends all the data it has stored for the previous flights back to China while they update the firmware, and that's fact. So you can't imagine that when they release the cryptocurrency that they're not going to say, okay, now what you have to do is fill in this form. We promise we will protect your data because we will add it to all the other data we've already got about you.
It's China. They won't even care about that. They'll just say, you must use it and we will do what we want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But look, the interesting thing that did say out of it is that speaking to Forbes on an interview, Chris Reinertsen, Chief Marketing Officer of blockchain consultancy Rhythm Tech, he said that throughout the last few years we have been seeing the trend of Bitcoin increasingly becoming fundamentally correlated to more macro moves as increased economic uncertainty in the world increases. And this is exactly what I've been saying for quite some time, right? Is that Bitcoin is more and more becoming that hedge, that insurance against the wider financial industry's crazy shit, shall we say? and it's impending downward spiral, right?
Yeah.
So, and as you said there, Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation, and that's exactly how it's looking like. So,
yeah.
All right. That was about all I was going to cover for the day. I don't know if you had something else.
No, I haven't really got anything else. It's not like a normal Monday podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to pretty much be short and sweet on Mondays because, unlike some people out there, we actually enjoy our weekends too. I mean, I played with airplanes all weekend. Stacy played with cryptocurrency all weekend. With cryptocurrency. But
I learned a bit more about it.
He learned a little bit more about it, some of which we will share with you as we go on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we once more thank you for joining us. Don't forget, you can always subscribe to our channel over there on Patreon. And if you become a silver or gold subscriber, we will send you one of these pretty little coins.
Yes, we will. I promise.
Yeah, we will. So that's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the crazy crypto world. And the links to the show, well, the links from the show notes, but the links will be included in the show notes. We'll get this right one day.
Oh, no, maybe not.
We will put all the links in the show notes. And if you've got any questions, please send them in to us because we would love to get it. And
Absolutely.
pretty soon, we're also going to start pushing to try and get some special guests on for you. So it'll be good fun.
Woo-hoo.
Whether we can get them at 6:30 in the morning will be very.
Yeah, we may have to pre-record them, but we'll see how we go.
We'll get them out too. So until tomorrow morning, have a great day. And this is Stacy and Chris, the two crazy guys in one crazy crypto world. So see ya.
Have a crazy old day, folks. See you later.